from 15 to 31, I spent all of that time making my movement the best it could possibly be. And then I post on Reddit asking for criticism, and it was kind of a troll, because I believed in my movement. I was like, how can you criticize this? This is the best it's ever been. And I was told that my movement was bad. And now I realize that it is bad. My movement is bad parkour. And the reason why my movement is bad parkour is because my movement is not parkour. I have moved so far from the original ideas of parkour that it is straight up insulting to call my movement parkour. I train with people who train parkour, but I'm no longer a believer in parkour. I believe that my movement is better than parkour. If it wasn't, why would I do it every day? Why would I dedicate my whole life to doing this movement if I didn't believe that it was better than what I was doing before? So, in this sequence, this is basically what separates my movement from parkour, because parkour does not take this sequence, takes this area like I take this area. There's nobody else on the planet who would take this area in the specific way that I take this area, because my skills and my principles have led me to make these movements and these choices in this small window of time. I'm making these decisions on the fly instinctually, and they're so far off from parkour that I deserve to say that it's something else. And it is. It's totally something else. And that's why I call it movement via principles. Whose principles? My principles. You can move. If you want to move by parkour's principles, be my guest. Go do that. You can be a student of parkour for your whole life. I don't care. But I'm not going to be contained by any one system. I believe that I can bust through any system that is created. I can go beyond whatever is out there. I don't need to listen to anybody else's movement. I don't need to go look up what anybody else is doing to decide what I do next. I feel what's the next step. I learn what the next step is by practicing every day. So, in this sequence, what the main reason why this is separate from parkour is because I'm taking the maximum amount of accountability of what my arms are doing in space for such a small amount of time. And parkour doesn't really do that. Parkour does not micromanage the upper center of gravity like I micromanage my upper center of gravity. This is something that no one else is doing. And if they are, I don't care, because I found this way on my own. And so let's get into it. So I am coming off the wall. I drop that energy high and then go over left. And then when I go over left, my arms go together to the right to compensate for the force that went left. And then after they compensate for going left, for compensating right, drop them down and they go directly back up. And this all happens at the same time that my feet are doing what parkour would call stutter stepping, but I call it flutter stepping. I'm intentionally choosing to make my foot placements smaller here because they fit better in this. You can fit a bunch of smaller steps into an area much more reliably and effectively than you can try to fit elongated steps into an area. Parkour loves to be nice and elongated. Parkour loves to be nice and open and beautiful and pretty and all of that. But the truth is, you're going to be, when you're using your movement, you don't get to decide how your stuff fits into what you're given. And smaller steps will always, you'll always be able to fit smaller steps into any area before you can fit a certain amount of big steps. Because if your step is too big and your area is too small and you messed up and there's not enough space, well, I guess you were on the wrong footing and you have no choice but to your movement is going to be destroyed in that moment because you have no choice. Your leg is on the wrong footing. But when you are making your steps smaller, you have more chances to position yourself in the position that you need to be in to move forward. So it's not stutter stepping, it's flutter stepping. This is more reliable, and my movement is all about accessing it when you need it, working every single time, not hurting you, not overextending, and being able to access it instinctually. And this is what happens when I try to take this area instinctually. I move in such a way that those feet, take those steps so that they can be where they need to be so I can go that way.